What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you see a Patreon account. If you click it, you become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to, so click the link. Please make sure that you guys hit the like button. It makes this video move. Now, with that being said, we're here today with a review for The Whale. This is an A24 exclusive starring Brendan Fraser, also starring Sadie Sink, who we may know as Max from Stranger Things, also Ty Simpkins, funny name. He was the little annoying kid from Jurassic World. And then also we have Hung Chow, Samantha Morton, and others. This is a movie with a very small cast. It doesn't need to be extravagant. And let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this movie was met with a ton of praise. Speak at the beginning of the year. They talk about the resurgence of Brendan Fraser. They talk about how amazing this movie is. And this movie just screamed Oscar bait. Like, I mean, from the beginning, it just screamed Oscar bait. And I was skeptical because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, like, I don't know. Like, is it really going to live up to the expectations that I have? And then I also know that A24 is kind of like hit or miss. So, you know, I didn't know what to think fully going into this. And then when you watch the trailer, you're just like, the trailer doesn't give you much. So you're just like, okay, my interest is even peaking even more because I'm like, I don't even know what this is about. So the thing is, this movie is based on apparently a play and a book. And I'll get more into the play aspect a little bit in a minute. So quick synopsis, there's this huge, heavily obese, like morbidly obese man who is going through some problems. He walked out on his family and left them to be with his male lover. And this is basically him trying to, like, I guess, reconcile those differences or try to right those wrongs of the past. And this movie is nothing more than kind of like a week journey of this process. So let's just go ahead and get into it. The acting in this movie is phenomenal. Every freaking character in this movie brings it. Sadie kind of reminds me of Max's character in Stranger Things, but like on 10. She at times, like, she's really likable, but then at times she could be like really like annoying as shit. And it's not because her character is just badly written. It's just because that's where her character is supposed to be. And then once you kind of like realize the parent dynamic of it, you're like, okay, well, now it's really making sense why she acts like this. You know, you see where she gets what from what. Brendan Fraser is like super likable in this movie. He does a fantastic job. And honestly, it's really good to see him back on the big screen. And I've always said this, like, A24 and independent movies are kind of like the way that most people go in order to resurge their career. And Brendan Fraser, he did a good one. He actually, you know, maybe he signed on to a really good project, something with a lot of potential. Now, I will say, even though the acting is phenomenal in this movie by everybody, it's not like, let's not try to act like these actors did anything special to make the characters unique. They just kind of went into it with who their character is, and they played their part, and they did a really good job at that. The pacing in this movie was done really well. The soundtrack of the movie was done really well. I, for one, was a huge fan of like the camera angles in the movie. The camera angles were really well. And then also going back to the theater aspect of it, as I was watching this movie, there's certain mannerisms and poses and things like that that reminded me of theater. Like, you know, when you go watch a play or when you go watch a Broadway play or anything like that, there's certain mannerisms in this movie that reminded me of a play. So when I was looking at the credits of the movie and it was like based on a play of the same name, I was like, oh, okay, so this is a play. So maybe those mannerisms and those movements were because this was a play. You know, and going into this movie, like I said, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, this is about to be a super depressing movie. Like, I feel like I'm about to be sad as shit. I feel like it's just going to be a whole movie about this sad, fat dude. And I'm just supposed to feel sorry for him because he's fat. And, you know, like, it's all going to be based on him being fat. And it's not. It's really, really not. Like, I really thought that him being fat was going to be like a super central focus. And like just fat shaming and fat phobia and it wasn't. It was kind of like a background aspect, and it was more so diving deep into why he did this versus like just him being it. So that was really cool. And also it's like a cool little character analysis of the different characters around him, and then how all of these characters, except one, all of these characters are stuck on the idea like you can't change who you are. Nobody can change who you are. It is what it is, you know. And it's just one character in this movie that's just like hell bent on like seeing the good in people, even though that person can't even see the good in themselves. So it's really symbolic when you're watching the movie. Like, this is a super heartfelt movie, and it gets kind of frustrating at times, and you question certain characters' motives, but then they do a really good job at explaining why said characters do the things that they do. You kind of go into it thinking like, man, like why? Like halfway in, you're just like, why is this character doing this? And they come back at the end and they sort of explain it, and you're like, okay, you're kind of content with the answer. But at the same time, anybody given this real circumstances, under the circumstances that this movie was going through, I don't think anybody would just allow this shit to happen. But I mean, it is what it is, you know. This movie does a really good job, like I said, at incorporating drama. It told a very original story. It wasn't what I thought it would be, and the characters are freaking phenomenal. Like, you know, like it's a really good movie. And honestly, I wanted to say, like I said, I really thought it was gonna be like Oscar bait, and it actually lived up to its potential. Like, this is probably easily one of the best movies of the year, like by far none. And it's crazy that it's wild to think that there was only 5 theaters in Los Angeles that are playing this movie. And I swear that when I went to go see The Mean One, which is like a super low budget movie, there was way more freaking movies around me playing The Mean One than it was playing this movie. And that's crazy because this movie is really good. Now, it was a movie I had to make sure I went to go see. I even kind of paid a hefty price to go see it because I saw it at a fucking AMC that was like just pricey as shit. But it was worth it though. Like I said, it was really worth it. It was a freaking experience. This movie, like I said, I can't praise it enough. Like, the acting in this movie is on point. The cinematography in this movie is on point. The storytelling is on point. And it's really just heartfelt. Like, all throughout the movie, like, it feels like a real authentic movie, and it tells a story. It told a story that I did not see coming. Like, I really didn't think that this was I was sitting there thinking like, okay, maybe it's gonna be a redemption movie, and it's not a redemption movie in that sense. Like, it wasn't what I thought it would be. And like, you sit here, you kind of try to predict the plot, you kind of try to see where it's going, and it just doesn't go the way that you want it to go. It's really wild how, like, while you're watching this movie, the layers of onion just keep getting peeled off, peeled off, peeled off, and you start to slowly but surely kind of get revealed things about the characters, and you're just like, okay, all right, well, all right, cool, oh, okay, cool, like, you know. And it's crazy, man. It's a wild experience, and it also makes you understand like how we look at people in this world. And yeah, I don't want to say too much, but if you guys have the time, I know it's the holiday season, but if you're really trying to go watch a good movie, I would recommend going to watch The Whale. This movie is fantastic, and it's probably the best movie of the year. Brendan Fraser does an amazing job. Max from Stranger Things does an amazing job. The whole cast does an amazing job. It is a theatrical experience, and I don't mean that as in like a cinema experience. I mean that as in like a theater, like art, like performing art. It's a really good movie, small set, like small cast. Everything seems like it's like done in-house, very minuscule. And honestly, I can't praise this movie enough. So here on the Cinema Chop Shop, we grade movies in 3 ways, counting 3 ways. Either you get bodied and sent to the bowels of hell, and I tell you your movie is basura, homie. Or I say your movie is meh, means it's más o menos, mediocre, mid-grade, mid-range, mid. Or I spare your movie and tell everybody, stop what you're doing, grab your fucking pocketbooks, and go see this damn movie. And I am obviously going to spare this movie.
He ain't earned the death. He ain't earned the death at my hands. God's only man, spared by the butcher.
Yeah, you heard it, folks. I'm sparing this movie. The Well single-handedly is probably one of the best movies of this year. Brendan Fraser knocks it out of the park. The whole cast knocks it out of the park. A24 does it again with another gem. A24 continuously brings us some very independent looks, things that I quite enjoy a lot, and this is yet another one. And honestly, I can't wait to do my top 5 list because we have things to talk about, man. We got things to talk about. But don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the way out. Don't forget to comment. Tell me if you've seen this movie. Tell me if you're interested in seeing this movie. Whatever the case may be, drop it in the comment section down below. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope you guys are having a magnificent day. And adios, homies.